Hi friends, Pastor Terry here. We are Okotoks Alliance Church and this is the 10-Minute Coach. I apologize for what looks like a yellow video. I haven't figured out on this camera how to adjust the white balance, so I apologize if it looks weird to you. Hopefully I can communicate what's needed regardless. Concerning the summer sermon for Sunday, November 14th, Reverend Dr. Miriam Charter is with us, and we are in our Global Celebration Sunday. And I'm looking forward to just a great day, morning and evening with Dr. Charter. God has used her in extraordinary ways. In particular, for your private devotions, for your family time around Scripture, or for your life group, there is lots of great content here for you to reflect on. Certainly any of the things that Dr. Charter referenced in terms of the stories from her life, from her ministry, are food for thought. You know, the encouragement to consider whether God is calling us to go to one of these least reached people groups or least reached places in the world. Bringing good news to hard places is a sobering and highly worthwhile conversation to be having together. In particular, she took us into Luke chapter 10, verses 2 and 3. It's worthwhile reading the context there for Luke chapter 10 as Jesus sent the 72 out. And then they came back rejoicing at the end of their time away, verse 17 through 20, because there was just such phenomenal effectiveness. I've multiple times endorsed study Bibles as a really helpful tool for you to lead your family or to lead yourself or to lead your life group in biblical reflection. In particular, I really like the ESV Study Bible. The NIV Study Bible is excellent. The NLT Life Application Bible is very good in a different way. Any of these resources are very, very worth the investment. So you've got a study tool there in your hands and can dig into, what are some of these references to, and what are some of the cross references. I've given you some of the cross references on the sermon notes, the back of the sermon notes, sermon based questions for further reflection. And so I've invited you to think about why this assignment is difficult, and why do we expect things to be easy. I think here's what I'm referring to. I think often we expect, I'm serving Jesus now, and things are just going to work. It's going to be easy. If God's with us, it must be working. If it's not, if it's difficult, He must not be with us. Maybe what's He telling us? These kinds of, I hear people reference these kind of things. I catch myself thinking these kinds of things from time to time. And yet that's not the expectation that Jesus gave us. A servant is not above his master. Our master was used and abused and ultimately gave Himself for us. And so anything through to that ultimate sacrifice seems to be fair game if we're going to serve the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, because we have an eternal perspective. We are recognizing that this life is not all there is. We are looking forward to eternity with Him, and that is just phenomenal. That is exciting, but it's worthy of whatever He would call us to do, trusting that even the most difficult sacrifices we might be asked by Him to make are going to be redeemed eternally in ways that we would say that was utterly worth it. That was so worth serving Him. I've given you some biblical passages to kind of go a little deeper. What does it mean for us to be a sheep? What's the background to the metaphor of Israel as sheep? And there's some condemning language around the shepherds of Israel who were unfaithful. Well, Jesus is the faithful shepherd. He calls us to be faithful shepherds to one another, ministers, small group leaders, parents. Shepherd those around you. So what's behind the sheep metaphor? Just a little forewarning. I got a little, pet peeve. It's been popular in years past for pastors to talk about dumb sheep. The idea that, I'm convinced that is not the case. If you speak to a shepherd, you speak to someone who knows sheep, they will tell us, I have been told by them, sheep are actually intelligent creatures. Now, they are defenseless creatures. They have no real way to guard themselves. They need the shepherd to guard them. The shepherd, his, trusty sheepdog, to guard them. But they're anything but dumb. And so I just encourage you to avoid those kind of self-condemning type of thoughts that sometimes gets attached to this text, and it's just not the case when you speak to people who are shepherds. But then the other one is then, and who or what are the wolves? And what's that metaphor that is being used there? It has history through the pages of Scripture. So I've given you some passages of Scripture in the Old Testament to dig into and just read through that. And it'll give you a little bit broader context, and then invite you to then say, well, what is Jesus saying to me about all of this? And maybe you need to do some more reading, and maybe this is inspiring you to dig a little deeper into the Scriptures, but into Jesus' call upon your life. How would he desire to use you and serve you? Dr. Charter's book, I don't know if you picked up a copy on Sunday or not, but it is a highly worthwhile read. There we go. Regeneration. My family and I have been reading this together, and it's been quite exciting to kind of work your way. Some of it reads like a spy novel, what's going to happen next, describing Dr. Charter's experiences behind the Iron Curtain in Romania in the mid-1980s. Some of it just reads like devotional content. Some of it is parental instruction on telling stories and being engaged in the lives of our children, the way that her parents were engaged in their lives. I highly commend it to you. My daughter is 16, our youngest daughter is 16, and we've been reading it together with really interesting conversation going on among us as a family. So those are a few thoughts about where you could go with this this coming Sunday, or following this past Sunday, whenever you're watching this video. I pray that you would encounter Jesus in really meaningful ways, and that he would coach and instruct you, and that his purposes in you would be thoroughly revealed. Bless you as you dig a little deeper. I'm Pastor Terry Lee. We are Okotoks Alliance Church, and this has been the 10-Minute Coach. Bless you, and bye for now.